You're listening to the Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network. RonandDon.com.
All right, here we come. Happy New Year once again. It's episode number 47 of the Ron and Don Show as we come hard charging into 2020. Don't forget, a lot of people ask, hey, what happened to you guys last year? January 10th of 2019. That's episode number 1 of our podcast. Also, what happened with Ron's birth mom? He talked about that in episode 3 and then a follow-up in episode 46. So if you want to check that out, that's a great episode that a lot of people ask us about. And, of course, we just did a best-of episode. That was episode 45, and everybody asked you about hot candy.
Yeah.
We talked your visit to a massage parlor. We talk about that in episode 45.
Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed yet to Ron and Don Radio, do it on your podcast app of your choice. And so it can be Apple, iTunes, you can be Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor FM, Google Play, all the big ones. You hit subscribe, give us a star rating, and then push that thing out. There's a little share button, so if you have an episode that you like, hit that share button, put it out on your socials. That would really, really help us out in 2020. We're going to try to grow this subscription up some.
Yeah. Speaking of 2020, I put something up on my Facebook page, and you can just find Don O'Neill, and Ron is out there too, Ron Upshaw. Great way to interact with us. And you can always reach us, Ron at Windermere.com, Don O'Neill at Windermere.com. If you want to sit down, we'll do a licensed sit-down together. I wrote down some things that I am really, and they're not so much New Year's resolutions or just kind of decisions and affirmations that I've made as we head into 2020. I've shared some of those on my Facebook feed, and I'm going to share some of those here in just a minute with you, too. I know as we head into 2020, a lot of people, Ron, are concerned about global warming. They're concerned about the earth, and you're here to save everything, right?
Well,
we're to save it.
I just found this to be really fascinating, and it seems almost like science fiction. Even though global warming is a hoax from the Chinese, everybody knows that. Let's just pretend, though, for a second that it's not a hoax and that the earth is actually warming. I think about this when I look at your son. Like, what kind of world is he going to have when he's our age? And I hope that it's better than it is right now. And so scientists are concerned about this. So USA Today did this thing, an article, and I caught myself going, is this really a thing? So I'm going to throw these out there. I don't know if you've heard of any of these, and just get your hot take on all these. The first one is, and these are expert ideas. So the first one is to use submarines to refreeze the polar ice caps. Here's the idea. We get a fleet of submarines. I'm not making none of these are made up. You can find these all in USA Today. There's going to be a fleet of submarines. They go down deep under the polar ice cap, and these submarines are outfitted with a device that will create a giant ice cube, a giant sheet of ice that then they're going to float up under the ice cap. They're going to make enough of these ice cubes that they hopefully, when it cools off a little bit, they will fuse together and make the polar ice caps thicker and hopefully freeze more water.
Wow.
So this is an actual idea.
Okay.
Then they say the pros is that if they can get enough of these giant ice cubes together, that it could capture some water and refreeze the polar ice caps. The downside is that scientists estimate it could take 10 million submarines to replenish the ice cap to what it was. So that's idea number one. It's a real idea.
And just to give you some kind of idea, we have 16 Trident nuclear subs. 8 are on the West Coast, 8 are on the East Coast. And if you took a Trident, and in fact they're out of Bangor here, R8 here, and you put it nose to propeller, it would be taller than the Space Needle. There's 16 of those. And we use all 16 of those right now. And some of those had to be refitted after the Cold War. We use those right now to patrol the oceans and to also make sure that we are safe here at home. There's 16 of those. I can't. How many did you? And we have a lot of money invested in those 16 that patrol the world.
10 million submarine trips to replenish the polar ice
So
cap.
it's 10 million minus 16, and I know we have some other subs out there, but you probably need a sub the size of a Trident.
I'm glad they're thinking of it.
Out of Bangor here in Seattle.
Make a giant ice cube. Number two.
To kind of work.
And they've done a pilot program on this. wrap glaciers in thermal blankets.
Oh, really?
So you know those little silver blankets that you would take on one of your 10 essentials for camping?
Yeah.
They make giant, this is already a pilot program. They make giant thermal blankets, and right now on the Rhone Glacier, volunteers come out and they drag these thermal blankets out, they unfurl them, and they cover the ice cap during the hottest time of the summer.
Yeah.
It reduces melting by 50% every year, and it's very costly, but it seems to be doing that, wrapping glaciers in thermal blankets.
So we need 10,000 submarine visits.
Right.
Once they visit
10 million.
10 million and create this ice, then we're gonna wrap all the ice in thermal blankets.
They're saying that's another idea. I like that they're trying it. I don't know if it can be scaled up.
Okay.
Number 3.
It's all about scale, isn't it?
Is creating sulfur clouds. Now, the idea here is we would send an air fleet into the atmosphere with their payload is sulfur.
Okay.
They release the sulfur into the atmosphere, and that will create this reflective cloud that will then cool the atmosphere. But it would take a lot of sulfur into the upper atmosphere.
I was running with my friend Joe on New Year's Day, and he had a little margarita and some Mexican food the night before, and then we went running, and boy, there was a sulfur cloud that was following us the full 90 minutes of the run. Are we talking about this kind of sulfur cloud?
It's a big sulfur cloud.
Gunnar O'Neill has some pretty good sulfur clouds sometimes too, and so does Charlie.
A couple more. These are actual programs.
We're going to send in Joe, Charlie, and Gunnar O'Neill to help create these sulfur clouds.
The next one is to make a machine that will suck carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, and then we're going to pump it underground.
Okay.
So the theory on this is the carbon that is ruining the atmosphere
What could go wrong?
at one point was underground in the form of oil.
Okay.
We brought it up out of the ground and then burned it and created all this gas. So we're going to have this giant thing.
Okay.
It pulls the CO2 through a huge fan, scrubs out the CO2, and then we pump it into a hole down into the earth. 2 more. The next one, and this is China is behind this one. They want to deploy a 5,000 square foot shield made out of a thin reflective material in orbit above the Earth. So basically, we're going to create these shields, put them in the a little bit above satellite orbit, and it's reflecting sunlight away from the Earth before it gets in there, and that would help cool the planet. And then the final one is to dump iron shavings into the ocean. So the ocean right now, we've been depleting the iron, which makes the plankton go down, and the plankton suck up the CO2. And so what they want to do then is fill the ocean with iron shavings, then the plankton will bloom, it'll suck all the CO2 out of the air, and the Earth will cool.
Okay.
Any of those you like better than others?
I say we do all. Is that 6, 5, or 6?
I think it was 6 ideas.
Yeah, we'll just do all 6 at one time, right?
Well, yeah.
Why wouldn't we?
We've got to do something.
Yeah.
Scientists these are the best ideas they've come up with.
Yeah. I love that. It's great. Hey, hope you guys had a great holiday, a great new year. At the time of this recording, my son is not back yet. He is in Michigan. I hadn't heard from him for days, and then he finally called me yesterday. Had no interest in talking to me. He just wanted to know if Santa had come and left something for him, because he said Santa came in Michigan, and he wanted to know if he had stopped by our house in Seattle.
Did he stop by?
Of course he did.
Good.
Right after he called, I jumped on Amazon Prime.
Santa Prime.
What about that, man? Your 9-year-old calls you, and you think they're concerned about you and checking in with you and wanting
That's
you
good
to know
that he's not homesick.
that I love you and care about you, and he just wanted to check and see if Santa
That's good that he's not homesick.
swung by in the sleigh.
Having a fun time with the cousins.
He is having a great time with the cousins. Hope you guys had a great time, too. We come back. Speaking of Santa, Bill Gates, a number of years ago, we asked him to help a little boy, and he was willing to help this little boy as long as we didn't tell anyone. Now we're going to tell you. And it also looks like Bill Gates may have been a secret Santa for a woman in Michigan, where my son is right now. Let's come back, talk about that. Also, I wrote down a couple things that I'm going to try to focus on as we head into 2020. And as I share this, maybe it'll be something that will help you too. Okay? It's the Ron and Don Show, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. All this brought to you by Les Schwab. They heard your plea. Now you got 3. 3 episodes of the Ron and Don Show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is episode number 47. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave us just leave us. Hundreds of you have done this too. Over 800 of you have left a great message, and that helps us with the algorithm when you write something cool down, right? When you give us a rating. So hit that subscribe, give us a rating, share this with friends, and we will see you in about 1 minute right here on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, are you ready to sit down with Ron and Don? Start your real estate journey? Reach out to Ron. Just write him ron@windermere.com.
Hey, Ron and Don here for Les Schwab. And Don, one of the things I was so excited about when Les Schwab decided to sponsor the Ron and Don Show is how involved they are with the community, especially in the month of December. I'm pumped that we're teaming up with them again to make sure that every kid in Western Washington has a gift this year. Doesn't matter if it's under the tree, if it's for Kwanzaa, if it's for Hanukkah, whatever it is, they are teaming up with everyone here in the Pacific Northwest to make sure that folks got a tree and they got a Christmas present under that tree.
Yeah, it's really cool. And in fact, each and every year we see these guys out in their Les Schwab trucks and you think they're carrying around tires, and they're not. They're carrying around toys. And they have 85 locations in Western Washington to serve us, and they also want to make sure they serve the kiddos this year. So stop by any Les Schwab Tire Center. Go to leschwab.com, find a location near you. They're right in the neighborhood. Les Schwab, proving once again, doing the right thing. You know it matters.
You're listening
Ron and Don Show.
to the Ron and Don Show. And yes, my dad's pretty annoying.
All right, it's the Ron and Don Show. They heard your plea. Now you got three episodes of the Ron and Don Show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thanks for listening, subscribing, and sharing this on your social channels. Also, don't forget, if you're ready for a Ron and Don sit-down in the new year, let's find out where you are on your real estate journey. Reach out to ron@windermere.com, and we'll set up a sit-down with you. You'll come to us, we'll come to you, and let's just sit down. And in fact, are we ready to announce? I don't know if we're ready to announce this. When you sit down with Ron and Don, you will get a... Are we ready to announce this?
You can announce it. They're not done yet, but you can announce it.
Is it a mug?
Yeah, we're making Ron and Don mugs.
Yeah.
They're actually really cool. I'm stoked about the mugs.
It's I sat down with Ron and Don, right?
Yeah, and so our merchandise guy, Russ,
Yeah.
he's supposed to be getting us a prototype because I want to do it in Seahawk colors.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if the Seahawk green is going to show up very well.
All right.
So, but I don't know where it is yet. It's been a busy holiday
We
season.
need to sit down together. We'll have a beverage, and you'll get it in I sat down with Ron and Don. And then we have another one, a follow-up. I punched Ron in the face.
Yes, that's a
during the
different
Ron and
mug.
Don sit down because he wouldn't be quiet. And then I kicked Don in the That's the third mug. It's a whole series.
It's a mug series, yes.
What is Reddit? For those that don't know what Reddit is, and Reddit gifts, and Bill Gates showed up. There's a Michigan woman here, and it seems like he became a secret Santa on Reddit. Is that right?
They call Reddit like the front page of the internet. It's a giant community where you can tap into any interest that you have, and those are called subreddits. And so the way that it works is the community kind of polices itself, and also it upvotes, or it chooses the most interesting popular things, and those sort of rise to the top. So there's a Seattle subreddit. There would be a subreddit on running. There would be a subreddit on dogs. Whatever you want, and probably like 1,000 then categories within dogs or within running. And so you can join these communities, follow these subreddits, and they're catered to the things that you like. So one of the subreddits was a Secret Santa subreddit where people would go out and they could post kind of their situation this year, and then a Secret Santa could come if they connected with that story, and that they would then become a Secret Santa.
Yeah, so according to CNN, it says a Michigan woman got the Secret Santa gift of a lifetime this Christmas. It was an 81-pound package, and they think this package may have come from Bill Gates, and it somehow involves the Great Gatsby.
No, they don't think that it did. It did. And so I don't know if I want to believe that Bill Gates himself took care of this, that it wasn't one of Bill Gates' assistants. So evidently Bill Gates is on Reddit, which seems plausible. You know, he's a guy that's very there's a lot of technological subreddits out there, and he probably follows it. He reads voraciously. And so he got a wind of this subreddit. And in the subreddit, this woman has had kind of a rough year last year, and posted her story. And then she posted the things, kind of her wish list for Santa, not expecting to get everything on the list. And then Bill Gates, she got a package from 81 pounds. And they say the people at the shipping service, I think it was either FedEx or UPS, the return address on this giant box was Bill Gates from Washington State. And so they were like, we couldn't wait to see who was going to come pick this up because we think this package is from Bill Gates.
Yeah. Anyway, they say that Bill Gates has been participating this year on Reddit. Her name is Shelby. She asked that her last name not be shared. But they have Secret Santas on subreddit. And she loves The Great Gatsby. So he had sent a Great Gatsby book. It's signed by him, though. Like, I don't think I would ever give a book that, well, that's
yeah,
not,
you do.
That's not,
it's not signed by him like he wrote it. It's inscribed by him.
Yeah, that's not true. I give books all the time when I'm done with those, and I'll sign those and give those to somebody, but not as the book author.
Right.
Yeah. So
Hope you enjoy this. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah. She also wanted toys for her cat, and she also wanted some Harry Potter stuff, some Twin Peaks memorabilia, and so he loaded all this in the sleigh, and he sent it to her, and they say that this really is from Bill Gates.
This is interesting because another thing I saw recently, I like people that are not doing it for the accolade. Bill Gates did not do this for the accolade. She's the one that publicized it. She filmed herself opening this box and then put it back on that subreddit, and that's how it got out into the media. Bill Gates' people didn't put this out. There was no press release. The other thing, I was scrolling through when everyone was excited for Marshawn Lynch to come back to the Seattle Seahawks, and he gave that really cryptic welcome home press conference, and a lot of people rolled their eyes. There was a post on Facebook, I think by our old pal Josh, where he said, one of my favorite moments in ever covering the Seahawks is that Marshawn Lynch, a little girl brought him some Skittles one day. He was touched by her, went into the locker room, grabbed one of his Beast Mode shoes, signed it, came over and gave it to her, and he saw some media following him, and he's like, do not take a picture of me. Do not report this. This is between me and her. And so he gave her the autographed memorabilia as long as nobody covered it. And he also does the same thing with backpacks and school supplies in Oakland, where I love guys like that are out there doing the stuff. They're not doing it for the accolades. They're just doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Going back to Bill Gates real quick, evidently Shelby's mom had died earlier in the year, and she had talked about this on the Reddit thread. So not only did he send these items, but he also made a donation to the American Heart Association. And then he wrote this to her. He said, I know no gift will ever make up for losing someone so important to you, but I hope you and your family find your new normal this holiday season. And that's from Bill Gates right there. So that's pretty cool. A number of years ago, almost 20 years ago, when Bill Gates was still in the middle of it with Microsoft over in Redmond, we had a young man. He was very young. I think he was 8 years old at the time, and he was 9. And before he died, he wanted to play video games with Bill Gates. So we jumped out on the radio station we were on at the time, and we just pleaded if anyone knew how we could get in touch with Bill Gates. And someone reached out to us and they said, hey, I work at Microsoft. It's against the rules. I can't tell you where Bill works, but it's somewhere between Building 23 and Building 25 at the time. We're like, I wonder what building that is. Then we went and we found an 18-wheeler, one of our listeners. And on the side of this 18-wheeler, we created a banner that said, hey, Bill, Ron and Don are trying to get in touch with you. And we put the phone number there. And then we parked it over in the parking lot at Microsoft. We could not believe that one of his assistants actually contacted us, and she said, hey, you know what? Bill wants to do this. He saw your sign. He asked us to call you. The deal is you just can't tell anyone. And Bill Gates ended up flying this young man from Seattle because he was on the road. He was in Las Vegas at the time. And this young man flew with Bill Gates, or flew to Bill Gates, who was in Las Vegas. Heard Bill speak there because he was speaking somewhere. And then they went backstage and they pulled out these video games and they played video games together for hours.
And Bill gave him the whole thing. I think it was right when the Xbox first came out and all that stuff.
Yeah, and this young man ended up passing away. And this is the first time I think that we've actually shared this story, and I think it's okay to share this 20 years later. But sometimes you always think, well, maybe it was kind of toward the end there. He left Microsoft and decided to be philanthropic. But it seems like the philanthropy has been in him
It's a great story.
his entire life.
It meant the world to her.
Yeah, really, really cool. Anyway, hey, Happy New Year to you. I wrote down a couple things that I'm trying to stay focused on as we head into 2020. I wanted to share those with you. I'll share those in 1 minute. It's the Ron and Don Show, brought to you by Les Schwab, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, it's Ron here with Brett Clark. Brett, it is cold out here. A lot of people are getting ready for winter driving season. They should stop into Les Schwab.
Absolutely, yeah. We're starting to see frost come out. And now if you haven't come by to get your tires checked, if you haven't come by to have us evaluate, please come by. We have that pre-trip safety inspection. If you're just driving back and forth to work, if you're going over the pass for the holidays, no matter what you got, just come on by and let us take a look at that vehicle. We do that for you free of charge. It's the free pre-trip safety inspection, and we're glad to have you.
The other thing is chains are not really chains anymore. When I was a kid, you had an actual chain, and now I'm like, I know how to do this. I'm a guy. And I pulled it out of the bag there. It's like, I have no idea how to install these chains.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the chains that we have right now are very, very easy to install. They're called Les Schwab Quick Fit chains. Super easy to put on. They come by the store with those. If you don't know how to put them on, we can have one of our people show you. Otherwise, there's a video that you can watch, a QR code on there, a video you can watch that'll walk you right through it. But most importantly, super easy to put on. 2 minutes, you're back in the warmth of the car, and you're traveling down to Grandma's house.
All right, it's cold. Be safe. Stop by a Les Schwab. There's 85 locations to serve you. They are going to hook you up for some winter driving.
Ready for a great 2020? Take Ron and Don with you. Just hit subscribe and get the show delivered to you every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
All right, episode 47, the Ron and Don Show. Thank you for listening, you guys. Thank you for rooting for us. Thanks for your friendship, the connection. So many of you have reached out to us this year, and we needed you to. We really did. We really did. And we felt your love. And we appreciate that so much. As we head into 2020, I wrote down a couple things on my Facebook page today, and I always say, I try not to make resolutions, but I do try to make decisions and affirmations. And every once in a while, I'll write some notes down on my phone. And what I try to do before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning is I will read these notes to myself. And a lot of these notes end up in a journal. I have my journal here. And I've journaled a lot over the past couple of years. And I just have to say that journaling has been super helpful. Just super, super helpful. But a lot of times I can't read my own writing.
Yeah, you have some
journals.
handwriting issues.
Yeah, so I have to go and I have to put these in the notes areas of my phone, and then I'm able to sit down. So here's a couple things that I wrote. Really, 10 things I just want to share with you that I'm going to try to focus on as we head into 2020. And I was thinking about this the other day as I went on my last run, and there's a lighthouse out in Discovery Park that I always run by, and then I kind of have this secret place where I stop and I pray and I try to connect.
Time out, though. You took a picture of it.
What's that?
And now everybody knows the secret place, so it's no longer a secret. It is the most highly publicized secret place in Seattle.
You know what? Good luck finding my secret place. Do you think you could go find it?
I think I probably could.
I don't think you could.
But it's a highly it's no longer a secret place means that you don't publicize a secret place.
Let's go. And the reason I brought up a secret place is my late sister had written a song called "The Secret Place." It's on my Facebook page if you want to listen to it. And sometimes I'll go listen to her music and I'll sit in the spot. That's a good point, though. Maybe I gave up the secret place and I have to find a new secret place.
Yes, you can't take a picture and put your secret place out to thousands of people and then say it's secret because it's no longer the non-secret place.
All right.
This is about your non-secret place.
I would take you to Discovery Park and hand you $100, and if you can find my secret place in 5 hours, you get the $100. Are you up for that challenge? I bet you couldn't find it.
I'll take that challenge.
Oh, you will?
Sure. As long as I don't have to pay you with anything if I don't make it.
I'll give you 5 hours. We'll see if you can find the secret place. So, anyway, a couple things that I wrote down here that I wanted to share as we get out of here today. Number one, I'm going to try to do a better job as we head into 2020, just pulling off my headphones, turning off some screens, and trying to turn down the volume of my life a little bit and just kind of listen to people because I haven't always been a good listener. But I'm working on that. Number two, I'm not going to take things personally. A lot of times when we are feeling conflict with others, it's not about us. It is just not about us. And we don't, and this is something that Ron has taught me, is I don't need to be right. And I really do need to be right. So I'm going to work on not always having to be right. It's really hard for me. You're good at that. How do you do that? You don't always have to be right.
No, I know when I know I'm right, it doesn't matter if you think I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to convince you.
You have confidence.
Yeah, it's like, I'm right, and if you want to think I'm wrong, that's fine. Science. Facts.
That's awesome, man. Anyway, and I'm going to try to do my part and correct my course when I am wrong. So number 3, I'm not going to go to bed angry. I'm going to forgive myself, which is really hard for me. I can forgive others. I have a hard time forgiving myself. I really do. Just full stop. I'm going to do a better job forgiving myself and remembering that it takes courage for us to forgive others and forgive ourselves. Number 4, I'm going to anchor myself to the present this year, release the past, and just be welcome to whatever comes in the future. They say a lot of our negative energy or anxiety a lot of times, when we're thinking about things, it comes from the past or it comes from the future and not so much in the present. So I'm really going to try to just enjoy the present. Number 5, I'm going to embrace adversity and hard times. I feel like I've done that this year, and I have learned more this year than I've ever learned. By embracing those things. 6, I'm going to do my best to help a young boy follow his heart, discover his passions, and find his bliss, not mine. Not mine. Sometimes as a dad, you want them to follow your heart and discover your passions and find your bliss. I find it doesn't work that way. 7, I'll continue to eat well, not drink, exercise my body, mind, and spirit daily. Number 8, I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to laugh a lot. Number 9, I'm going to continue to try and serve and help other humans on this amazing journey as I've been helped by so many great humans. And then 10, I'm going to remember a lot of times to heal wounds, you have to stop touching them and you just have to let it go. So, and finally, everything's going to end with love, no matter what. And I'm sending you all love as we head into 2020. Love. It ends in love. And we're going to end the show right now with love. He's Ron, I'm Don. Keep your head up, your shoulders back. We'll see you next time for episode 48. Why wouldn't we be? Listening right here on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, it's G-Force O'Neill, the brains of this operation, and the voice of the Ron and Don Show. Well, that's it. Show's over. We'll see you next time on the Ron and Don Radio Network.